What's up? It's Jasparboo. Welcome back to the sanctuary. I've got more TikTok videos for you. More of my spooky pasta, my Jesus freak mix match, Anyways, Jesus is king. And, yeah. Welcome into the sanctuary. Alright, let's go.
Corinthians 12, it talks on the body of Christ, and one of the parallels that it draws is saying, how stupid would it be for an eye to tell a foot, I'm useless because I can't walk, or a foot to tell an eye, I'm useless because I can't see. But in reality, they're both useful and necessary, however, they just have different purposes. All Christians aren't supposed to walk, talk, and look exactly the same. Now, what I'm not saying is don't strive for holiness. However, the idea of holiness in a lot of people's minds is simply fitting in when that's not a biblical command, and in fact, quite the opposite is. And I think some Christians draw the parallel of not being like the world means not doing anything you've ever seen an atheist do ever. People of the world, listen to rap music. Christian rap music is from the devil then. And it's like that the devil doesn't make anything. He's come to steal, kill, and destroy. He's incapable of creating. The creator is the one who creates, and then he created you and I to further create. That's why we have artistic expression. Simply because some people use the gifts God gave them for evil does not mean that the gifts are bad. If God gave you the ability to sing, if God gave you the ability to rap, then do that for the kingdom. Just because Kendrick Lamar uses the talent that he has for rapping to rap about nonsense doesn't mean that rapping is bad. Just because people you don't like or don't agree with or aren't Christian dye their hair doesn't mean hair dye is evil. Striving for holiness means striving to be more like Jesus in the way that we treat people, in the way that we act, in the way that we think. It doesn't mean throwing away the gifts, talents, and treasures God gave you to use on this side of eternity. God didn't give you those gifts, talents, and treasures for no reason. There's like 10 parables about this, dude. The parable of the talents. I gave you all these talents, and what did you do? You buried them? Why? Because you were scared of what would happen? I'm the one who gave you the talents. God entrusted you with something. Don't you think that he already thought out the dumb decisions you make and your shortcomings? He's kind of God, The Bible says he started at the end and then works his way backwards. None of this is new for him. Just trust him. Going back to 1 Corinthians 12, we're not all supposed to look, walk, talk, and act exactly the same. Some people think Christian and their brain immediately goes to a cult where everyone looks and talks the same. Artistic expression is directly from God. He's the original artist. He's the creator. He made us in his image. Jesus said he'll know that you're a follower of me from the way that you love others, not because you don't have the same hobbies as an atheist. You're called to stand out from the world, not fit in with Christians. That's not the same thing. My job isn't to look like everyone I go to church with. It's to love people in a way that is shocking to the world. God made you the way that you are for a reason. Obviously, I'm not saying the sins that you struggle with. The things that make you unique, God put there for a reason. Be authentically you. Follow God authentically, not pretending to be someone you're not. Be you. Please, and thank you. Vaya con Dios. It's Corinthians 12.
You always do that.
Okay. The flesh wants to snap back.
Just say something petty. Just do it. You always got something to say.
But the spirit says a soft answer.
I'm tired of talking to you about the same stuff. I can't keep going through this with you.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm working on it.
The flesh wants to win the argument.
You damn right I want to win it. Shit, tell her how it is.
But the spirit says love her like Christ loved the church. Listen, babe, I forgive you. The last thing we need is for Satan to come between us, alright? You love me? I love you too. You always do that.
Okay.
Children of God, pray a hedge of protection for the state of Texas. There will be many prophetic events that happen there, and a part of that is the rise of Islam. Islam is antichrist. It does not have the truth and knowledge of Christ Jesus.
Wait, why is this voice so low? Is it a voice changer? I'm being silly.
Belongs to the impending beast system. It is a part of the totality of destruction that we'll see because of the Spirit, where there will be persecution against Christians. Keep that in your understanding by the forefront of what you'll see transpire in the last days. When we look at New York, when we see Dearborn, Michigan, when we see the United Kingdom, these are a precursor. New York City in particular is the poster child for the rise of the Spirit, and Zoram Hamdani has been marked. God is not pleased with him. He is a part of the age of deception. He is a liar. So people who support him are not inclined to understand spiritually what is taking a part of these events that are in the last days. So continually pray for the state of Texas. And God bless all of you in Jesus Christ's mighty name. Children of God.
God bless Texas.
Y'all parents be making it so hard to stay at home. That's why we be moving out and getting our own spot.
You're leaving because your parents don't make it easy for you to live there in the house that they bought with the money they earned from the jobs they've had since they were like 8 or 9 years old?
What?
Really? You're upset the two grown adults who pay the mortgage, the insurance, the utilities, the Wi-Fi that fuels your Fortnite feelings, and the fridge that mysteriously restocks itself didn't transform their home into an all-inclusive emotional comfort resort for a full-size toddler with Wi-Fi privileges. You're uncomfortable? Kid, it ain't a boutique bed and breakfast, it's a house, and you're a guest who forgot this is not Yelp.
Whew.
You don't like the rules, the expectations, the horrifying burden of being asked to contribute? Oh no, did the grown-ups fail to fluff your throw pillows of entitlement? You want it more comfortable? Well, it's wildly fascinating that the only human in the house who doesn't pay for anything is the one demanding upgrades. I'm leaving because you're not making it easy. Well, that's adorable. Life outside of that house is going to introduce you to a landlord who doesn't care about your emotional temperature settings. You're telling your parents to grow up? They did. That's how they got the damn house. You want grown people to make you comfortable in a place that you don't own with money you didn't earn under rules that you didn't write? That ain't adulthood. That's extended daycare with Wi-Fi. By all means, leave. Spread your fragile wings of financial fantasy. Go find a world that accommodates you. Spoiler alert. The world charges rent and it don't fluff the damn pillows.
Y'all parents be making it
Charges a lot more than rent.
Things I refuse to do to my kids because it fucked with me growing up. For a lot of parents, doing better starts with doing things differently. First off, my kids are allowed to cry. They can cry about dumb shit. They can cry about big shit. Yes. Even about the things I personally think are fucking ridiculous. I'm not running the emotional speedrun academy where kids have 10 seconds to recover. Turns out, feelings don't disappear when you suppress them. They just fucking grow legs and follow you into adulthood. Life already has plans to ruin the vibe eventually. I clearly don't need to start that process at age 5. Number 2, I don't expect blind obedience. I want respectful kids, not kids who say yes to everything because they're fucking scared to question adults. If something feels off, I want them to trust that instinct, even if that means questioning me sometimes. Blind compliance sounds great right up until someone learns to ignore every red flag waving directly in their fucking face. Number 3, I'm not creating a house where alcohol changes the vibe or makes shit unpredictable. My kids shouldn't have to scan the room to figure out what mood the adults are in before they speak. I'm not teaching them that relaxation has to come from a fucking bottle. Number 4, I go to their events. All of them. Even the chaotic ones where nobody knows the fucking choreography and one kid is just spinning aggressively in the corner. Because nothing sticks with you like looking into the crowd and realizing nobody came. They'll look up and see my bitch ass there. The fuck? Number 5, my husband and I do argue in front of our kids. Because adults disagree, but we don't scream, threaten, or put hands on each other. And afterward, we explain that love doesn't fucking disappear just because people are mad sometimes. Conflict is not scary when it's safe. Number 6, we don't punish accidents. You spilled something? Cool. That's called being a human with hands. You spilled juice. You didn't commit a felony, and paper towels fix most fucking problems. Number 7, love is not conditional in this house. Love doesn't get taken away when behavior blows, sack. You can be in trouble and still get a hug. I'm not teaching my kids that affection disappears the second they fuck up something. Number 8, my kids hear I love you constantly. Probably an excessive amount. And they hear what I actually like about them too. Because confidence isn't something you suddenly fucking wake up with at 25. Number 9, I'm not pushing politics or religion onto them before they're old enough to actually think for themselves. My job is to teach them how to think, not what to think. Number 10, we don't force apologies just to end an awkward moment. Bitch, if you're saying sorry, you're gonna understand why. Otherwise, it's just noise. Number 11, my kids don't have to shrink themselves just because they're having a hard day. Bad moods are a part of being alive. Adults have them daily. We just pay bills while doing it. Number 12, I'm not expecting emotional maturity beyond their age just because it makes parenting easier. They're kids. They're learning. Big feelings and questionable reactions are kind of the whole starter pack. Emotional chaos is literally part of our fucking job description. Number 13, mental health is taken seriously here. I'm not telling a kid who who's mid-emotional collapse that they're fine. We've all met adults raised that way. Number 14. I don't use silence or emotional distance as punishment. I'm not ignoring my kids to prove a fucking lesson. That kind of shit sticks longer than people think. I'm raising kids. I'm not manufacturing anxiety disorders. And most importantly, home isn't a place where love depends on how well you behaved that day. My kids aren't trying to maintain a fucking 5-star rating to feel safe. My kids don't have to earn safety here. They get to be loud, messy, emotional, and perfect little humans and still know they're loved. I'm not raising perfect kids, okay? I'm raising kids who won't grow up wondering if love disappears when they make a fucking mistake. I'm raising kids who won't spend their adulthood trying to heal from their childhood. Things I refuse to do to my kids because it fucked with me.
Good job, Mama.
Never think that God is making you special on accident. You're not gifted just because. You didn't find your significant other just because. You're not waking up at 5 a.m. just because. When you get that feeling it's a God did thing, it's because God did it. So I grew up with 2 older siblings. If you don't know, I talk about them all the time. I mean, my sisters are everything. And 2 months ago, my sister passed. I know, bummer, right? And while this is very painful, I'm not going to make this about that. I'm going to make it about something greater. She was 34, diagnosed April of 2025, and passed December of 2025. But that's not why we're here. My sister Tania, I'm Talia, but my sister Tania was always different. She didn't start being different at 15. No, she was always different. And let me tell you how God don't do nothing on accident. And you are not blessed just because. I remember when I was 11, Tania was at least 16, and she would drag me to church. And I was a little bit of the villain. I was the little sister. I didn't like going to church at 11. And she would say, Leah, I'm just trying to be closer to God. I didn't get it. I don't even know if she understood it. But so early, so soon, she wanted to know Jesus. Now, we grew up in church, but when my mother started going to work at those hours, on weekdays, my sister Tania would say, come on, Leah, I'ma drive to church. But I went wherever she told me to go. Kind of had no options, but I was there. She would speak in front of the church. She would do everything that God told her to do at a young age. She didn't give God a no. She didn't give God a why. She just did it. And when I was younger, I didn't understand. People ridiculed her for these very things. I remember her first surgery was at 16. For said reason, she didn't have sex until she was married. I know, TMI, but it matters right now. And I remember how she would get picked on in high school because she would come home crying. They would ask her, something wrong with you? Why you not doing this? Ooh, Nia's being weird. But she wouldn't and she couldn't. But when she got to college at 22, she got proposed to. Now, I thought it was pretty strange my mother did not stop her from that, because the type of mother that we have, she sent us to school for our education, not to be in love. But she was the only one that she didn't stop. She enjoyed it. Tania enjoyed it. Her life was fulfilled. And I remember at least 9 years went by, she was married. In those 9 years of marriage, she became a pastor. She became the top advisor at the university that we all attended. She was the woman of peace in high school, the only African-American woman to be on the wall. She spoke at her college graduations, both of them. Everybody and their mama loved her. She was sweet, she was humble, she was special. I remember at 30, they told Tania she couldn't have children. But a lot of people didn't know this. So she would get so much ridicule. When are you and your husband going to have children? Why are y'all acting weird? It's the things people don't know, and they shouldn't. At 32, she got pregnant with my first nephew. And at 33, she got pregnant again with my second nephew. My point is, you don't know your story. You dang sure don't know the ending. But God knows all things. God knew that time would be up at 34. God knew that he would call her home. And as painful as people look at it, because none of us know the time, nor the day, nor the hour, Tania accomplished more in 34 years than some people do in a lifetime. That was a true woman of God. Had she not been my sister, she would still be somebody that I loved and admired, because she was everything. Lastly, I want to say, stop wasting the time, because it's not your time. While we're here on earth, the job is to impact. The job is to touch other lives, other hearts, other people. Love y'all. Bye. Never think that God is making you special.
Oh, man. That one really got me. That one really got me.
My generation became adults, we got fucked. Oh my gosh, get married, oh have kids, oh buy a house. We can't, Deborah. We live in a society where making $20 an hour is not cutting it. We're homeless if we make $20 an hour. Oh, just go to college and get a degree. Did that. Even with a degree, you still need 2 to 5 years of experience. How am I supposed to get experience if no one will hire me? And then we're supposed to balance work and life, but all I do is work. Oh my gosh, you need to go out with your friends. You need to go to the gym. You need to do this. We can't. We literally can't because you walk out of the house and you automatically spend $100. And I'm tired of the older generation being like, well, back in my day, back in your day, everything was 5 raspberries and a penny. I wish, Grandma, I wish. Old people need to wake the frick up because right now in this society that we're doing right now, it's not capable or attainable to do anything those people did. It's not. So yeah, when you keep telling us, hey.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't say I can't. That's not what I would be saying. That's like, I manifest your reality, why don't you? But at the same token, yes, she's right. A lot of the older generation I see, they just don't get it. They don't get what it's like to be a freaking millennial or Gen Z. It's different economy, different life.
Get married, hey, have kids, hey, have a house. We are trying, but the system is broken. We can't do anything. If an old person tells me one more time to get married and have kids, I'm going to lose my mind. Not respectfully. My generation became adult.
We're at war. And we're poor.
Why is nobody... I'm a former mob wife, and in 2023, I began my undercover operation, pretending to be an influencer, to write a book about the experience and what I learned. And here's some information you probably don't know about being on the internet that everybody should know. If you decide to start making videos and post them on the internet, here's a series of things that you need to do. I want you to film a video that looks identical to the videos that you would post. As you're watching that video in your camera roll, don't post it yet. I want you to take screenshots of yourself in several different positions, and then I want you to go to a place that I'm going to put in the comments for you. I want you to run all of those pictures of yourself through that, and I want you to see what people are going to find when they do it to you. And if you don't like what pops up, I want you to get rid of it. And if that makes you uncomfortable enough, then I want you to find a filter that pretty much looks like you, just maybe does a little minor tweak, and always use it. Or use the software called CapCut that is owned by ByteDance and make those adjustments. Redo that video, the screenshot, try again, see what pops up. Never ever stop doing that. Then I want you to find and pay a service that will delete all of your information from the internet, and you'll want to use one that monitors and scans for new information all the time and fixes it for you. Then I want you to type your address in Google and see if pictures of your house pop up in Zillow, Realtor, Apple Maps. Go to the source of those pictures and have it removed. And then go to the Google Maps website, report a problem, and have them remove your house, which will also remove it from real estate websites. And what will happen is anywhere your house shows up online, like your address, your house will be a blur. If you don't have 2 sets of security cameras, like a decoy that looks quite obvious, if you film too much in your house, people will be able to see where your kids sleep and where your alarm system is. That, my friend, gets a little scary. Now, if you're really savvy and you're really committed to this privacy, you're gonna set up a whole fake personhood. You have to have some connections from that, and that's something that I can't explain any further. But it'll make it so that if somebody does try to find you, they will be absolutely convinced that you are somebody that you're not. And somebody really good at this job will make it so that if they go to the address of where it looks like you live, something not so fun will happen. Or it ends up being owned by a business. Who gets paid to do this? You also want to think about who your enemies are. If you have an ex that you can't get rid of in real life, or it took you a long time to, it's probably going to be far worse once you have an online presence, because it just gives them another method to get to you. So you have to think about if it's worth that, and if you proceed every single time something happens, you need to file a report. Get that party started right away. The people you know in real life that are going to cause you the most grief are generally people loosely connected to you. That's not usually going to be people that actually know things about your real life, are generally not going to be the people that are after you or gossiping about you or making things up about you. Most people know that that's pretty embarrassing. So it's going to be an ex that you blocked, or somebody that loosely knew you or was acquainted with you in real life that was extremely jealous. Most likely, not all the time. So be prepared to be lied about, because when they can't control you or your feelings or emotions anymore, they will use the internet. Doing things like that is a very weak person's imitation of strength. If you ever said no to a man in your life, it's definitely going to happen. People that you meet online or through the online space, that's the next level of this, okay? There's levels to it. Do not engage or disagree with any other creator. I said what I said, especially if it's a man. Do not beef with anybody, do not fight with anybody unless you're prepared for what could happen, because you will get brigaded and bullied. There are people that is their entire existence, is fighting with people online. There are some people that do not like to be wrong, and they are very concerned about what people's opinion is of
Get a life. That's what I have to say. Get a life.
them, and they will fight for it. Or they just don't have anything else to make content about because their content's not very good. I'm telling you, it is not safe to argue with other creators or be negative about them. Your personality, your niche should be about you and your life. Even if people get bored with it or say that you're obsessed with talking about yourself or whatever, no, it's called staying in your own lane, and that is where you should drive at all times. The most dangerous people in your life and on the internet to you will usually be people that are trying to pretend to be what you actually are. Think about that. A person that pretends to be like you or something that you actually are when they are not is dangerous. Your authentic existence to somebody whose existence is entirely fake and definitely worries them and reminds them that they are not like you, but they're pretending to be. It is not your job to police people's authenticity. You have safer and more profitable things to be doing, right? If you don't decide to go the fake identity route and follow the plan that you're given, which in that case, this will not apply to you because you want people to find things, you're going to want to make sure that your username and profile pictures is different across all social media. Like every personal social media account that you have should have a different username and profile photo. Like I said, unless you went the fake persona route, which in that case, you follow the plan. I know you want to be friends with everybody, but be very careful. Do not be friends with anybody or tell anybody anything in DMs that you met on the internet as a creator, unless they are a very established creator and there is proof of sanity. And one of my biggest safety tips, especially if you live alone, is don't post your content timely, especially if you post yourself out and about, unless you're being told to do otherwise for the thing I was talking about earlier. At the very first sign of trouble, do not argue with them, do not go tit for tat, file a report, and move on. That way when they make a mistake, you already have all the information, you don't have to explain it all at once, where it's so overwhelming and you feel like you sound crazy. And always remember to be as good as you are. Stay safe out there. I'm a former mob wife, and in 2020...
Hi, my name is Madison. I'm a biomedical engineer, and this is why I do not believe in God.
Hey, Theus Brooks here. Over 1 million people liked your explanation, so I'm very excited to respond to it. Let's hear it.
If God is all powerful, then he has the ability to prevent suffering. If God is all good, then he would want to prevent suffering. And yet suffering is everywhere.
First of all, this is purely a philosophical objection, so I have no clue why you mentioned you're a biomedical engineer. But I'll happily clear this up for you. There are two fatal flaws with your argument. First of all, you misunderstand what is meant by all powerful. We as creatures have free will, and a necessary condition of free will is freedom. Therefore, God cannot force us to freely choose good. That's a logical contradiction. Contradictions are like gibberish. It would not affect God's power. It's in the same way as God cannot destroy himself, because that would make God both indestructible and destructible. That's incoherent. The second fatal flaw is you are fallaciously assuming knowledge. For example, you say this:
A plan that requires unnecessary and indiscriminate suffering.
Prove it. That's an assumption. How could you ever know the suffering is unnecessary or for no reason? That would be like a child with cancer calling their parents evil for putting them through chemotherapy because they don't understand. But simply, the child is unaware of the greater good of suffering through chemotherapy. By analogy, there could be dozens of reasons, or even goods that we as humans can't comprehend, that God knows. God knows infinitely more than us. Therefore, you are unjustified in your assumption. Next.
Through science, we can explain the universe without ever needing a God.
Are you sure about that? Let's put that to the test. Try to use science to explain how consciousness arose out of non-consciousness, how a personal, qualitative, subjective, experiential category came out of dust. Now try to use science to explain why the chance of this universe being life-permitting is more rare than 1 part in 10 to the 120th power. Now try to use science to explain why there is something rather than nothing. Now try to use science to explain what caused the beginning of the universe. Now try using science to explain why hurting children is wrong. Now try using science to explain why we see beauty when there is no evolutionary advantage. Now try to use science to explain modern miracles. Now try to use science to explain the disciples seeing Jesus after his crucifixion. Now try to... I sound like a broken record, don't I? I could go on and on. I think you get the point. Next.
Faith asks us to stop asking questions when answers become uncomfortable.
Says who? That is not a historical or fair representation. The Greek word for faith is pistis, which means confidence. We see throughout the Bible and Christian history faith and evidence working together. And I myself have faith, and here I am answering your objections. Next.
I do not behave ethically because I fear hell or hope for heaven.
Again, you have two fatal flaws in this statement. First of all, that Christians only do good for those two reasons, but in reality, motivations are much more multifaceted. I, as a Christian myself, do good for goodness sake, and also because I love God, and also I love others, and I also think I have moral duties, and I believe I will be rewarded. What's the issue? The second assumption is that atheists have pure motives, but many atheists do good to get ahead, or for something in return. It is selfish. Debunked. Next.
Because reason tells me that reducing harm makes this world a better place.
Explain that. Why does reason tell you that? We have the same epistemology. We both know moral truths. The question is, what grounds those truths? You cannot answer this question. Next.
Belief is often shaped by family, tradition, and the community surrounding.
This is a basic genetic fallacy. That reasoning also applies to atheism. Next.
Welcome open dialogue.
Awesome. Me too. I would love to hear a response. Your video has over 7 million views. I hope mine reaches you. God bless.
Hi, my name is Madison. I'm a biomedical.
Like him up. Share him. Let's get him back out to it.
Hey, I helped build part of the internet, remember? And I was trying to help you understand that my hair stand on end problem. Yeah, no, really. We went to software-defined network, and I lose everybody. And they're like, why are you talking about that? Because you're wireless. And everybody right now has a fixed magnet system sitting in their body part, and they didn't tell anybody anything about drone warfare, electromagnetics, nothing. I would know. When I taught in Wisconsin and I opened my office, it's synergy.com is, it's still me after all these years. In 1999, I opened my office and worked with the University of Minnesota Pagan Studies Group. They needed people to have something called brain-to-brain interface, so they could have synthetic telepathy, nobody else. Structured query language is what back-ends WordPress. It's also structured query language Hive that uses GitHub style, Hadoop loop, and people upload code playing other humans like Sims. Oh, but they got an app for that. So they still, to this day, will not let people talk about the Havana syndrome. Are you kidding me? 802.15.4 is Zigbee and Bluetooth, and again, I was in January of 1994. So they used kids. That's what that whole Synergy.com is from 1992 forward. They used children to figure this tech out. They didn't tell anybody nothing. I mean, that panic never happened. It was a hysterical reaction to all the spinal damage. The lack of albumin production. Hang on, I want to show one other slide here, so to speak, before I get to the other part of this.
What is she talking about?
First it was fibromyalgia, it's fake pain, it's always your fault. Then it was pseudotumors and pseudoseizures and lupus, Lou Gehrig's disease, and all the autoimmunes. They can never be fixed. It's your immune system. Well, that's amazing. 80% of the immune system is in the human biofield, generated by the oscillation of our DNA structures and all the PHAGE states of our cells. You think they might know that? Yeah, I bet they do. Since 1911 and before, yeah, we've had autonomous drones since 1854. Okay? So then we have fake nanodiseases. Oh, actually, they're not fake. World Health Organization, been around since 1654. Yeah, and then cancer, let other people talk about that because they have more information of how it's a big hoax. And then sudden adult death syndrome, heart attacks and strokes are normal, pseudo-heart attack, pseudo-stroke. So Blue Water people know all this stuff. You guys have been through it. So what happened to you, in my opinion, was y'all got sucked up in the original circles of hell, because I come from the original healing touch and therapeutic touch community, and I learned with people in Wisconsin and La Crosse, and I got news for you. A lot of those people from the real harmonic convergence disappeared. I'm still here. And they used that 9-year-old girl submitting to the Journal of the American Medical Association up until this year. Because I watched constantly. I'm like, why won't they update Wikipedia? Now they have. And I'm going to show you why, Blue Water people, that they need you to stay in these circles of hell and never understand that this body part is a body part, because you'll blow them away. So the people that are strong enough to keep this technology off of them suffer with the nano bio internet of things. Yeah, she got a number. Yeah, the 802.15.4 is 2 fixed magnets. You guys call them etheric parasites. Nah. It's just that you're so powerful with your abilities of your own, fighting against this wireless tissue engineering, depending on where you live, the epigenetics of who you're around, then the bouncing the signal back and forth. And the thing is, they got everybody believing it's a broad signal, it's something that you can, shield from. Yeah, they wanted their people to believe that. None of that is real. This is built off the same technology that everything is around us. And the reason for SRA was because they use human tissue, they use you, to route their new internet. And anybody who knew about Dizdar's dolls, Russ Dizdar, Collins, the Sheriff's Department, is hiding all this time. They knew this, but they thought, I'm guessing, non-invasive neural technology connected to satellites that never go down. Yeah, they're called Jesuit VAX stations in UW-Whitewater. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater is one of them. So when I worked there and I ran into different pieces of software, I kept them. Just thought, okay, they were going in the big trash heaps, no big deal. I figured it'd be in my library collecting dust. And then I heard Alex Jones talking about how you better hope you've got an old computer. But yeah, because the human body is where the data is. Now, when I can go and find the most recent cryptography, stenography-driven binomial algorithms, I used to do math in binary to subnet data sets for the 2 4 dots when I had to bring it from dial-up to broadband. So spare me, okay? I've had to dig that deep in the binomial algorithm tech, and that's where I finally found that the LOPAN, 6G LOPAN, is personal area network as defined by conductivity of the human body, not this whole, oh, well, we grab it from around you. No. The science and tech on body area network, which this is wide body area network, 802.15.6, you are the network. And since 2005, you've been battling the swelling. And again, 802.15.4, it's not etheric parasites. The internet, bio-nano internet of things, is pulling the iron and different minerals and chemicals straight up out of your red blood cells right away, just like it's doing right now. But they're talking about it with backwards. I'm a network tech, so I understand exactly what this is because it's got engineering numbers on it. And then I try to help people understand this is engineered. You need to tell them that that's a body part, because when they start playing around with the drone warfare here on CONUS, you're going to have people reacting to with their bodies. When we react with our body, it's like this. You can't, there's too many companies involved, so always 2 plus security. Then there's red versus blue plus their security. Then there's NATO. Then there's world oversight on top and with NATO and our NRO and other kind of sortas. Then there's proprietary software that people buy off the shelf and mess with. I'm up to 10 different layers of compression waves, because that's what this takes. You are a sack of water, and there's no consideration for you at all, because you would say, well, hey, give me that remote for my body part. They're not doing that. They sold you to people. Who? Corporations. When? September 10th, 2020, the Artificial Intelligence Symposium presented by our Department of Defense. I encourage you to go read the notes. I took my own on BrainDawn.com. They are linked there. I went over them a couple times. And now we see on CSER, which is our National Reconnaissance Office news today, I posted, they're still talking about Project Maven. That's because somebody up at the DoD just threw up dirigibles again, I'm sure, knowing that the game is going to be up soon. Because the rods of God and all these things that they were counting on in their Project Echelon are not at their fingertips like they thought they were. The sheriff's departments are dependent on the Dizdar dollies. Well, of course, they're flesh networks. And that, one more time, is IEEE 802.15.4, inside the human body, permanent lifetime sensors.
I'm gonna have to watch that back over to even digest all of that, to be honest with you. And you know what? I think that's a good time to end the video. So, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Let me know if you got anything on there that you're bewildered by, anything that you got some information to let us know. Let's get it out to the sanctuary, to the collective consciousness. Let's go. I'll see you later. Bye.